Nasty UK weather. What's up guys, it is Friday today. It is Friday the 6th of December. It is a cold and dark morning in the UK once again. My voice sounds probably a little bit raspy because I've got a bit of a sore throat. I was in London yesterday and Wednesday just catching up with one of my mates, so no doubt I've probably caught something from there and just the nastiness of London. It's NFP today, which is no trading day for me because the volume and the price action is normally really bad. So it's just one of my rules not to trade it. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently today compared to my other vlogs. I haven't really had much time to record something this week in terms of me sitting down and filming myself in a daily routine and in front of the charts. Just really haven't had the mindset for it. What we're going to do is run through my trading days, which I have recorded and the screen recorded for them on each session. I'm going to commentate on the trades. I'm going to talk about why I've taken those trades and talk about some things I probably shouldn't have done as well. But basically what I've found, I posted a tweet about this recently, what I've found is just by doing these screen recordings for this YouTube vlog, it actually helps me with my trade journaling because I get to review my behavior afterwards. And this is basically what this vlog is going to be about today. It's actually really beneficial. It's something I got from One Good Trade. One of the traders in that book recorded all of his sessions and was able to analyze his behaviors in the market. And this is basically what I'm doing now. It's kind of an accidental thing that I stumbled upon just by doing this vlog. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about my trades. We're going to start with Monday. There was a no trading day on Monday, but I'll show you why I didn't trade. Tuesday was a losing day. And then Wednesday I made up for that loss and came out green for the week. So let's just jump onto the charts now and get into it. Okay, so firstly, this is Monday's trading day. And there's a really clear trend to the downside coming into support. What happens is we get a bounce from that support into a last supply zone before that test of the support. And then price just kind of goes sideways and doesn't really do much. And at this point, I'm not really clear on what to do. There's nowhere I can put my risk. There's no obvious sign from the market that it wants to continue south. However, it does then move south quite convincingly, takes out the support. Then it just absolutely nukes down to the next support, starts to flag a little bit and puts in a little range, which kind of has me a little bit interested now. This is a point where I can look for a continuation, but instead, it just completely nukes south and the price action drops off of my screen completely. So for me, that's just no way of getting into that trend. In hindsight, it looks like, why didn't you just short it? It was clearly following through, but on the day when you're watching it, it's not always clear. If I take those trade opportunities where things do just nuke like this, those days where it doesn't, I get caught with my pants down. So it's best just to stay away from the market and just trust my edge provides on another day. So now let's get to Tuesday. The price action's a little bit nicer on Tuesday. It comes into resistance, takes it out, flags a little bit, and then just zooming in, we can see a bit of a range has formed with price pushing to the upside. It then ranges a little bit more, and I've marked that range out before, looking like it wants to break down. Comes down and tests the support whilst putting a little bit of a flag in, and I'm just marking out the areas of interest at this point. And then price comes down to support in what was an uptrend after taking out the resistance and putting in a higher high, and bases, lots of small candles, lots of indecision, and then price starts pushing up. It's a little like a cup and handle pattern forming, and it's broken out, putting a higher high after a higher low, after a previous higher high and higher low. For me, this is an entry pattern, although it's not one of my best. So I take along with my stop below the range low, which I've marked. And then as you can see, price just nukes back down to the bottom of that range, puts in a little bounce as if it's going to continue, but just rips through it essentially. So that's a -1 hour loss for the day. It's not the best pattern, to be quite honest, but it's one that I've got away with many times before. It had shot down into support, based sideways, and then looked like it was going to push up. I did expect follow through to the upside, but it just wasn't to be on this situation. So next we have price moving down to support. I flip my bias to the downside, so I'm looking for shorts at this point. Get a nice little range has formed, pushes to the top of that range but can't really break through, and then puts in a bearish momentum candle. After a little green candle and then another drop, it looks like to me this is going to head south, so I enter with a short at market with a stop above the high. However, at this point, because it didn't go, at this point it should be ripping south, particularly since the momentum was strong into the range low. I say to myself, if it does take out this nearby high, it's probably going to come up to take my stop loss. So on a break of that high, I take that as a reversal signal and I close for about minus 0.3, 0.4R. Then, as you can see, price does come up, and I think it may well have taken my stop on the spread. I'm not too sure, but basically the next candle, it just comes back down to the downside, back to the range low. Messes around a little bit, small candles, the bounce is weak, and then we get a rip through that with a nice momentum candle. For me, this is actually now the time to look for a breakout. I enter short again with a stop above the most recent high, quite tight, and then price just moves down really cleanly. And once it starts showing signs of moving sideways, I move my stop to break even or just below break even. Price puts in a nice range, drops, and I've trailed my stop loss to about 0.2R at this point. And then what happens is price just takes it out and I'm done for the day. My head had gone at this point. I wasn't really in the right mindset for it. I wasn't really patient enough. I'm not really sure what was going on in the day, but to me, this is an example of bad trading. I moved my stop loss when I probably shouldn't have. If I had left it as it was, price actually dropped down. I haven't got it on the recording, but price did drop down and I would have made a win had I just not moved my stop loss, but my head wasn't in the game. You know, it happens sometimes. It's just one of those things with trading. And then Wednesday morning, I was due to leave at about 10:30 a.m. to head down to London. It takes me a couple of hours to get down there and meet my mate. However, because I'm an addict, because I am addicted to trading, I had to open the charts before I left. Got up at my usual time, maybe a little bit later than I would have liked, but we have a really nice structure had formed. So we can see that price had tested the lowest of support levels and then bounced and looked like pushing to the highest of resistance levels, and then it formed a range. I wasn't sure at this point if it was going to continue to the upside or continue to the downside. Because it's in a range, it wasn't really obvious. So what I wanted to see basically after this break to the downside is another push back into the range, maybe to the range high, just to see if it could break north, fail, and then drop to the downside. But it actually turned out to be a really nice entry that I missed, but it was enough of a signal of intent for me from the market. And then once it got to the lows, it formed a range and showed quite a lot of intent that it wanted to push down further. A little bit of sideways action before testing the range high, and this is really what I wanted to see in the previous range, which I missed. Can't push any higher, drops south with a momentum candle, and I enter with a stop above that little mini range that has now formed. With the signal from the market that it wanted to push down quite hard, quite quickly, I was happy to take that without a second confirmation. The read was quite nice. It broken down that lowest of support levels, which I mentioned earlier. Then after a few minutes of just messing around, every trader's dream comes true, and it just absolutely nuked down and took my TP for about 1.9R, and again fell through the bottom of my screen. And that was my trading day done and my trading week done. Oh, it's cold. Just to show you that no matter what the weather is, I come out here and do this. I know it's quite boring to watch, but it's my routine. And part of being a profitable trader is having the same boring routine, a consistent lifestyle to become a consistent trader. So I'm just going to show you that. It was nice seeing my mate in London the past couple of days. My life is pretty much just what I show you on a weekly basis. Not too much excitement. It's been a little bit less exciting this year because my missus has been pregnant, we've had the baby, stepdad passed away. It's not all holidays and yachts and whatever. I'd like it to be though. It's tough this time of year for a lot of people, particularly if you haven't hit your trading results. Money struggles, all that kind of thing. But just keep going. It'll be the new year soon. Be a lot of new energy with that new year. Get to offload all of that negative energy that has been built up this year. Start fresh basically. Start a new challenge for yourself. Start a new funded challenge for yourself, if that's what you want it to be. The thing with being a profitable trader is that you have to do the challenging things for yourself. You have to do the boring things day in and day out. The consistency is what is key. It's a hard sell sometimes because nobody wants to hear that. Everyone just wants to hear that they're going to make it. Everyone just wants to hear a price target. Everyone just wants to hear that they're going to be rich next month. But this is the kind of stuff you have to do and shape your mind to be the right type of person to take into trading. So, although it may be a little bit samey to watch, this is what it takes. Well, this is what it took for me anyway. It all depends on what type of person you are. It all depends on what type of upbringing you had. It all depends on your mindset that you've created over the years. So this is just what it takes from me. It might not be the same for you, which is why I always say maybe just take some little bits of what I'm doing and apply it to your routine to see if you benefit from it. Not everything, but this is just what I do. Plus, you got to fill the time somehow each day, right? Rate my Christmas tree. I just got this through the post. I thought I'd try it because I don't know if you can see, but when I breathe through this nostril, especially when I'm running or something, it just closes up. I don't know if I've got a deviated septum or something. So I'm going to try this out on camera. Right, moment of truth. I can feel a difference, you know. It just opens up the nose, it just opens up the airwaves. Someone else use one of these. Let's get a white. Let's try it out. Alright, thanks for being my mirror.